After several painstaking minutes, he was able to put the two arches back together. The paint that was added to the foam made it slightly larger and the pieces didn't fit together as well, making them unbalanced. This wouldn't happen if the pieces were made of something heavier than foam, like concrete or steel. Then everything would hold together better. His father used steel in building all the time. It was a great material. His mind was still a little hazy, but he was okay, he thought. He then thought, are people that are not okay able to tell they're not okay, or do they just think that they're okay? He noticed that the judges had already started judging and were coming down, table by table, toward him. He wasn't nervous about them. He knew he could answer any questions about the display. The group of judges moved to the table next to him. With the back of their legs, one of the judges bumped the table. The two arches that were balanced so poorly fell down. Joseph grabbed up the light foam pieces in a panic. He had to have them back in place before the judges turned to him. His fingers moved very quickly to put the pieces back. He had most of them back, despite the bad fit of the arch, when he started to feel weird again. His fingers felt like he was wearing gloves as the pieces were put into place. They're so light, he thought. If only they were heavier or bigger or something. The judges were finishing up with whatever they were saying at the table next to him. He tried to force his fingers to work better, to finish up. He felt like his vision blurred. He couldn't focus, or something bad was happening. Joseph had put the last piece in place, but was afraid to pull his finger away. His hand was shaking, and he thought he would knock over the light material if his finger didn't come off steady. The judges were stepping up to his table now. He closed his eyes and tried to focus with all his might to steady his hand. It seemed too hard. If only this were made of something heavier or stronger, like steel. Screams forced his eyes open. He could not believe what he saw. The aqueduct display was now made of steel, and so was the table. Table legs, the table next to him, the parking lot asphalt, the tent, and everyone's clothes. Not just clothes, but everything on them. Everything in the tent was steel, except the people in the steel clothes and him. His clothes weren't steel. There was more screaming, most loudly from a woman a few tables away. "Are you all right?" he asked her. "I can't move," she yelled. "Neither can I," called out another man. Everyone with the steel clothes on was stuck in place. Joseph then noticed that their shoes were one with the steel asphalt. The table legs were also fused to the ground, so was the steel tent. Just then, Joseph's father came bounding into the room. He was pretty quick when he needed to be, thought Joseph. "I'm all right, Dad," he said, knowing what the first question from his father would be. Mr. Pringle looked his boy over and looked at all the panicked people stuck in their own clothes like flies in amber. He looked to see if anyone was in life-threatening danger. He then asked, "Is anyone hurt?" Some answers said scared, some uncomfortable, but none said hurt. He pulled out his cell phone to call 911. He figured someone already called, but he couldn't be sure. While the phone was connecting, he looked to his son. "What happened?" Joseph's father asked. "I don't know," said Joseph. The way he said this made his father ask another question. "Why are your clothes normal?" Before Joseph could answer, his mother rushed in, dragging Alex by the hand and hugged Joseph. She then carried both of her boys out of the steel tent while Mr. Pringle talked to the emergency dispatcher. Outside of the tent, the same bizarre circumstances were affecting everyone who was within 20 feet of the tent. Mom was a near miss and could probably hold her boys in her arms all day without getting tired. Instead, she walked carefully out of what looked like steel asphalt and set her sons down on safe, normal asphalt. Looking back, Joseph could see that the part of the parking lot that was now steel was a large circle centered on the tent. The flat surfaces of the tent reflected the sun's gaze like a mirror. His mother told him to stay where he was. She started talking to the people who were stuck, getting them to calm down. Fire trucks could be heard in the distance. She used them to her advantage, telling them that help was coming and they're going to get them out of there. Joseph's mind was sharp now, like he'd just woken up refreshed. He started to ask questions to himself. Did I see the future? Did I know this would happen? Could I have stopped this? Or did I do this? He hoped it wasn't something he had done. Whoever did this was in trouble. If it was him, maybe he could undo it. But how? He tried to think of a way to undo this mess as the fire trucks arrived. Firemen and construction workers worked late into the night trying to safely free the people who were stuck. After 12 hours, only 9 of 53 were free. Joseph watched the news as someone from the Heroes Union showed up and was about to use some special power to free everyone. He tried to see the rest, but his mother shut the TV off. "You need to get your rest," she said. "Am I in trouble?" Joseph asked quietly. "No, you're not in any trouble. Some people from the Heroes Union are coming here tomorrow to talk to you. They said to assure you that you're only 11 and anything that happened was an accident. Another thing that they did say was to keep you home, rested, fed, calm, and reassure you nothing was anyone's fault." Her words made him feel more at ease, but he was smart enough to know there was going to be more to this than just staying calm.